Hello, Lago Vista. Let me adjust my camera here. This is Mayor Ed Tidwell, and I am coming to you today. It is Wednesday, May 1st, and this is my attempt at an initial uh, webcam update on things that are going on in the city of Lago Vista, and update you on plans and activities as they are occurring. Hopefully, it'll be a weekly update. I do not know if I'll be able to get it done every week or not, but as frequent as I can, I will be on here and try to update you. Today, again, is just my initial one. So, this is kind of a test. We'll see how it goes, and I'll get your feedback, and we'll go from there. Because this is my first one, I'm going to just kind of give a background, so to speak, start of what how our city's formed, our type of government, and then just give a little background so that moving forward, when we talk about the activities and stuff, you'll kind of see where it fits in. Because all this ties into our comprehensive master plan and the city council strategic plan. But we'll be getting into the actual daily activities, weekly activities that make up these larger plans. Eventually, this may actually go live where we can do question and answer sessions live. Right now, this is recorded so that I can edit, and if I don't like it, I can redo it. I'm going to attempt to do it in one take. Let's see how that goes. So until I do go live, though, if you have questions or things that pertain to the city as a whole, please email me or something. Give me your questions so that when I do start doing my updates, my activity updates, that I can address those questions and I can get it out citywide. You have to excuse me, my camera is on top of the thing, so I have to remember to look at the camera and not at myself. So if you see me looking down, that's because I'm not looking at the camera. Plus, I also have notes. There's my notebook. I have my notes that I'm going to be reading from, so I may be looking down on occasion. I'll try to sit here like this, and I'll look at you in the face as I talk, but please bear with me if I do read. So anyway, let's get started. This is the initial YouTube mayor's broadcast webcam. And so I want to welcome you. Thank you for watching this. Obviously, we're in Lago Vista, Texas, where we like to live like you're on vacation. That is our city slogan, motto, whatever you call it. It's not our brand, but it's our slogan or motto. Live like you're on vacation. And to get started, I want to just briefly describe the Lago Vista form of government is what we call a council manager form of government. Notice I said council manager. Nowhere in there is mayor. It's council manager form of government. Those are the people with the power, your city council members and your city manager. So the council, they're the ones that create all of our policies and procedures and ordinances and everything that runs the city. They are the council members are your go-to person as a citizen. You go when you want to make changes in policies and procedures, you go to your council members. They will work with the committees. I believe we have 9 standing committees right now, and then we have others that we stand up as we need them. So some of them are only temporary in nature, but we do have 9 standing committees, and your council members or the liaisons, anything that comes to council from outside citizens will go to the committees and to the liaisons, and it'll all get hashed out through staff and committees and your council members before it'll even come to full council. You can come, through the mayor, but usually if you come to me with anything, it'll be handed down to the council member that's in charge of that committee, usually through the city manager or through the department head. So that's council. Council is they're the ones that set the policies, procedures, ordinances for the city of Lago Vista. Your city manager is your CEO. It was the mayor up until this past November, but the citizens voted to strip the mayor of CEO powers, and now the city manager is all-encompassing chief executive officer for the city. He does work for the council. He answers to them, but he's the one that actually executes everything that's passed down from the council. He directs our staff to operate the city, as directed by the council through our policies, procedures, ordinances, and our strategic plans and things that we come up with. The council directs him. And he's also in charge of our budget. Council does not put forth your budget. All we do is approve it. We do have some recommendations that we make, and obviously some things that we can adjust. But as far as actually putting the budget together, that is done by the city manager and his department heads. Starts with department heads. They come to the manager, and then the manager brings it to council. And from there, we work towards approving it. So, like I said, Lago Vista is a council manager form of government. You get to the mayor. The mayor is a figurehead. Yes, I am part of council, but I have a separate role. My role is to be the head of council, the head of the city, and it is a figurehead type position with very little powers. But I am the face of the council and the face of the city. My job is basically to be the liaison between you, the public, any outside agencies, and city council and staff. So the way I work, I do most of the informal, sometimes formal communications with the public and any outside agencies, and gather information, and then I take it back to council and staff to act on. But being the spokesperson and the figurehead, I'm the one that's considered to be the person to speak, news agencies, times of emergency operations, things like that, or just meeting with chamber, different organizations. And the mayor's position is considered to be the spokesperson and the figurehead. I do work with council and staff to obtain, the vision of you, the community. We operate, we actually refer to it as our comprehensive master plan. So the vision that we operate off of is the comprehensive master plan. And I will work with staff and council, and sometimes, like last time, we hired an outside agency to come in and do all the Q&A sessions and town hall sessions and stuff like that. And that's how we get the vision for the city. It is your vision as a whole, maybe not you as an independent person, but it is the vision of the city as a whole, as established through the comprehensive master plan process. And I work with them, and we get that established. We established that 2 years ago, and it's a 2030 comprehensive master plan that we are working on right now. And it's a living, breathing document. We actually have a subcommittee formed that reviews the comprehensive master plan on an ongoing basis and adjusts. This is something we have, something new that we have undertaken. It was pretty much me giving guidance or making sure everybody was on track with the master plan leading up to this point. But the council members have realized that, it's a living, breathing document and needs to be not only looked at and taken as a guideline, but it needs to be adjusted as we go along, because sometimes things don't happen and year 2 tells you you're supposed to do this, but for whatever reason it doesn't happen. So, you have to adjust. Some things may become more important and moved up from year 5 to year 2 or things like that. So we do now have a comprehensive master plan subcommittee that is evaluating that plan as we go. So we take the vision, and then myself, the mayor, the city council, and the city manager, we take y'all's vision, again, the comprehensive master plan, and then we create the mission of the city. And the mission of the city we have a mission statement that we have come up with. This date predates me as the mayor itself, but the mission statement for the city of Lago Vista is to provide, maintain a healthy, safe, vibrant community, ensuring quality of life. Again, I'll repeat that. The mission statement for the city of Lago Vista: provide and maintain a healthy, safe, vibrant community, ensuring quality of life. All right, that's the mission statement. So that's just a statement, but together, the mayor, the council, city manager, we will establish the mission of the city. And then it is my job, like I say, as the figurehead, as the spokesperson of the city, to take their mission back to you, the citizens, and communicate our mission to you. I do that through town halls mostly, on a large scale, but individually I do it through emails, phone calls, things like that. Now I have this new technology, and hopefully this will greatly improve my ability to communicate the mission and goals of the city to you, the citizens of Lago Vista. So I'm communicating our stuff back to you, and then I'll get feedback from you, hopefully, and then I can take this feedback back to the council manager, and then they can make their adjustments based on the feedback that I am getting from you, the citizens, to whatever form of communication, town hall, email, whatever. But I take it back to them, and then they sit down, evaluate the master plan, the strategic plan, and they make adjustments. So now you know a brief kind of rough outline of our form of government here in Lago Vista, council manager form, and you know our mission statement and how we're working, but it didn't really tell you how we came up with that mission, our mission and our mission statement. So when we're working to try and establish this, the first thing we start with are core values. So the city council was asked to define their core values in making decisions on behalf of the city. The core values, as established, as presented by the council, ensure a secure and safe community, have a vibrant community with value on growth and amenities, promote a healthy community, financially stable, have an attractive community with a clean appearance, ensure a well-planned community, be energetic, be caring, and be proactive rather than reactive. Those were the core values presented by the council at the time this strategic plan was put together. The last update was in 2017. We'll be doing another update on it soon, but this is what we're working off right now. So in addition to our core values, we have 2017, we began to develop guiding principles based upon which these our decisions and our mission would be made in the future. And I think you've heard of me speak on this before, because I had campaigned on this before it was even put into the strategic plan. But it has during our retreat, it was put into the strategic plan back in 2017. But our guiding principles. First guiding principle is preserve the past. Preserving the past means to honor the history of our community, to honor the volunteer spirit of those who established the community, be open to and listen to the community, recommit to establishing destination opportunities that made this community what it is, and as best we can preserve the rural environment and beauty of the city of Lago Vista. And excuse me, I need to turn my phone off real quick, so I'm going to go ahead, log in here, and turn the volume down. Evidently, I just got an update, and I'm sure y'all can hear it. All right, it is all silence now. So back to this. We covered first guiding principle, preserving the past. The second guiding principle that we use is to protect the present. That includes provide for infrastructure improvements to meet the needs of the citizens and provide for the future. So we've gone through from the past now into the future, into the present. So right now we should be working on infrastructure improvements to meet the needs of our current citizens and provide for the future. Provide needed amenities of the citizens, recognizing that our demographics do change as time goes on. We're getting slightly younger as a city, and so demographics change. And so we're constantly having to make sure we have the right amenities. We have a new park underway. That is one of the new amenities that we have coming online. And eventually we would like to add cultural and recreational amenities to the municipal complex so that we can provide those to you, the citizens. And strive for economic stability. With our budgeting right now, we are really trying to make it so that we are not taking on any other debt. We're getting rid of debt. We're managing it so that we'll be prepared for anything in the future, and we will have cash on hand to handle most emergencies and large purchases and stuff like that, while moving forward and providing everything that we can. The third step in this is planning for the future. The third guiding principle, plan for the future. So it says adhere to the comprehensive plan. Again, you've heard me speak on the comprehensive plan. You've seen it come up on council meetings. that's our guidebook. This is your vision. The city of Lago Vista, as established 2-3 years ago. I think it was started in 15, officially adopted in 16. So 3 to 4 years now. But this is your vision and planning for the future. We're supposed to adhere to the comprehensive plan as much as we can and be true to the mission. The mission is, as I am telling it to you today, provide for sustainable economy and economic development programs, become an eco destination with services, businesses, and recreational opportunities that are environmentally friendly and sensitive, and provide for environmental sustainability. We do realize that we're in the hill country and on the lake, and with the nature that surrounds us, it's very sensitive, and we do have to take care of it. But we also want to take advantage of what it offers us through the Balcones Canyonland, to the lake, and the beautiful hill country. We want to make sure that we take care of it and take advantage. All right. So now we've got our mission established. You've heard our core values and our guiding principles. So now we've got our mission established, which I read you the mission statement. And so now our next step was to create our ongoing strategic plan. So our strategic plan is just how we're going to, the long-term, ongoing way that we want to try and accomplish our mission. Kind of like how the comprehensive master plan is the 15-year plan for the vision of you, the citizens. The strategic plan is the long-term, ongoing plan for how the council is going to try and accomplish the mission according to your vision, the comprehensive master plan. So that's what our strategic plan is. So our strategic plan, well, we started with, we wanted to figure out what was important to us. So we were tasked with identifying our current issues and challenges and things in the future as well, current and future issues and challenges. And we came up with 3 areas of emphasis. The weaknesses that we identified, our areas of emphasis, were broken down into community and quality of life, organizational and operational effectiveness, and economy and growth. So the first one is community and quality of life. Okay, so things we wanted to emphasize under community and quality of life, the town hall meetings. We believe those are extremely important to the citizens of Lago Vista, because that's a way for you to meet face to face in an informal setting and gather information and pass on information and just communicate with us directly. So we want to emphasize the town hall meetings. We also want to continuously survey your citizens, and you've heard me say this several times too. Who are we, and what do we want? I'm constantly asking that of the citizens of Lago Vista, because that's what we want. That's what we want to know. We can't move forward if we don't know what you want. And again, it goes into the comprehensive master plan that was established, but yet it is a living, breathing document and needs to be adjusted from time to time. So we continuously have to ask you, the citizens, who are we? What do we want? Another area of emphasis was to expand our communications efforts. We have got a new website that came online I don't know, not quite a year ago. We have really become engaged in social media, not just myself with my mayor's personal page, but the city has its own page. Our public works has its own page. The city manager has an account. Um, our police has pages. Our library has pages. Our golf course. We have lots of groups within the city itself that are on social media. And we will probably be expanding that as we grow and become more productive in using these methods of communication, websites and social media, or Facebook, I should say, or the ones we use right now. But who knows? The city may actually go into Twitter and Instagram and things like that in the future. Actually, I'd have to look at the page. I think we actually may have something beyond just Facebook at this time. But anyway, point is we'll be using more social media to communicate with everybody. Lago Vista Radio has been expanded. You can not only listen to it at 1670 AM now, but you can live stream it. You can go to the city webpage, or you can Google lagoradio.org, and you can live stream Lago Radio. And as we increase the programming on it, it'll have news and updates and events and just general information that you, the citizens, need to know or have the need to know. And you don't have to spend any effort trying to research it. You can just turn on the radio, and every so many minutes it gives a little update on something that's going on. And then in the meantime, it plays the hits of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Some popular pop music, I believe, is what they call it. Anyway, we also have YouTube now. As you know, we broadcast council meetings on YouTube live, and now we are doing updates on YouTube. And so that is something else that we are doing to expand our communication. Annually, I have my State of the City address, and we newsletters. That's what I'm thinking of. Newsletters are now being published electronically, and we'll have links to them. I think I put out a link to the May 1st newsletter, or the first letter. I think it was entitled the May newsletter. I think that was the first one, and I shared a link with that on Facebook, on social media, just the other day. Some other things that we want to do to emphasize. We want to emphasize the city's accomplishments, our successes, and our productivity. We're winning several awards in our water department for things that we're doing, especially with our treatment plants and stuff like that. I have a water quality, I can't remember the organization, but we're getting our Plug Works department is getting another award on, I believe it's Wednesday the 15th. So I'll be in attendance to that, but what we're accomplishing. We also want to emphasize the beautification efforts in this city. We work a lot with KLVB, Keep Lago Vista Beautiful, and working our common areas and stuff like that to beautify Lago Vista. We have the Lions Club that does trash cleanup on Saturdays, and many other organizations also help to beautify Lago Vista. We have the Turnback Canyon Trail Conservancy that will be establishing trails from the lake all the way up into Balcones Canyonland and through our new park and everything. And whereas it's a nature trail, we're hoping that accessibility adds to the ability to appreciate the beauty of Lago Vista as that comes on board. Something we really have been pursuing as well, or emphasizing, is trying to actively engage you, the citizen, in volunteering. Many of y'all, I don't know how many dozens, if not 100 of y'all, step up and volunteer to help with Lago Fest, and wow, that is greatly appreciated. July 4th, we have volunteers that help with the July 4th celebration, and your other groups around here, Lions Club, Chamber, activities that they put on, school district, the community does a very good job of volunteering on, activities that go around town. And we just want to make sure that we show our appreciation for that and encourage everybody to continue to do so. Things are always, as we add people and things grow, it's always going to take more manpower. So the more volunteers we can get, the better. I now have established a welcoming committee. It is an informal committee of volunteers that puts together information, and I think we started officially January, maybe in February, before we got to our first house. But we started pulling the names of our new utility connections to find out who's moving in and where they're at, and then these volunteers go around and welcome the new people to the community and deliver them some information, so that hopefully they're not completely blind as to what they need to do as far as reaching the school, the city, police, fire, chamber, POA. We try to provide them with a broad overview of everything they need to know, or at least how to access the information when they first get here. Because, of course, as you know, and I'm sure many of you as well as I, we just move here. And then you find out later that, you don't know everything that's going on, or you get a red tag for something, or that you can't go to the POA because you're not a member of the POA, things like that. So I've established this new committee to hopefully help educate people as they move into the community, and also have a community outreach program. It's an informal outreach program that is supposed to work with within the community to find out areas where we can help. We're also, we've always tried to do this, but it's an ongoing thing of trying to collaborate with other entities in the community, like our school. We have a liaison that's appointed to work, with the school board, and we've already had one joint ISD city council meeting so far this year, and I think we're scheduled to have a minimum of 2 per year. So we're working with them. The chamber, we're constantly working with chamber because they're always trying to promote things and bring stuff in, and so we're constantly working through the chamber with our economic development efforts and things like that. POA, we've always had a pretty open line of communication with them since they're just across the parking lot. But moving forward, I believe starting in May, we will now be having meetings with myself, the city manager, and then the president and admin director of our POA. So, Josh and I, and then the POA, and I think the Lago Vista POA, the airport POA, Terceras POA. I'm not real sure exactly how many POAs will be in attendance, but it's just for us to sit down and hash out things and open up our lines of communication and see how we can work together. And one other thing, one last area that we as council have we want to emphasize is to develop the city as a destination attraction. We know we're out here on the lake. We've got beautiful golf courses. We've got water, fishing, skiing, and we want people to come out here on the weekends, play golf, visit the lake, and eat at our restaurants and enjoy Lago Vista. And so we're really wanting to emphasize Lago Vista as a destination. So people that can't live here or don't necessarily want to live here for whatever reason can still come and visit, and this will be one of their first choice. All right. Now we're going to our second area of emphasis or goals, and that is our organizational and operational effectiveness. We would like to emphasize that we are the municipal employer of choice. So that means, what does that mean? That means developing an organizational plan that will identify the changing expectations and demands on the city staff by the public as growth occurs. This is an ongoing thing. So that means we have to make sure that we have, as an employer, we're providing for our employees to make sure we can provide what you, the citizen, wants. So it is our goal, our emphasis, to keep our compensation plan updated. We need to recognize the accomplishments of our staff, create a plan for adding staff and filling vacancies, and we need to do include a cost-benefit analysis for in-house versus outside contractors for completing infrastructure projects. Normally, we can do that in-house. However, at times, like we've had recently, the growth just overwhelms what we have in-house. And whereas it's not feasible to hire more people, which may be temporary in nature, sometimes it is more cost effective to hire outside contractors. But then other times it's not. Take our street paving plan moving forward. In the past, we were always contracting outside companies, but we have discovered now that as the Austin metropolitan area is growing by leaps and bounds, including the Lago Vista area, it is hard to get companies to bring their equipment out here. And so the cost to get construction crews, street paving crews out here, the bids were just becoming outrageous. So this year, we actually set aside some of the money and went out and bought our own machines. And crews are now starting to pave on their own. If you've been up to City Hall recently, you've seen our parking lot. That was their practice pad. They got the machines and they had to learn how to use it so that they can get out there in your streets and use equipment. In this case, it was more cost effective to buy the equipment and do the work in-house. That's not always going to be the case. I believe we just okayed a contract, an outside company to do some street paving because we're just not quite there in-house yet, ready to tackle everything, and we don't want to get too far behind, even though we already are behind in a lot of ways. We don't want to just keep getting further and further into behind. So we are bringing in outside companies to do some of the street paving. Excuse me, get a drink real quick. Anyway, and let's see. Emphasis, municipal employer of choice is the goal. Support comprehensive human resource plans that provides compensation, education, and licensing to meet our regulatory authorities. So obviously, because we are running things that are vital to the health and safety of the community, a lot of our people have to have license and certifications, especially in our public works, as well as police department, things like that. So we want to make sure that we've got a great program to ensure everybody is up to date on their licenses and their educations and their certifications. And if they don't, we want to encourage them to pursue this stuff, because eventually people are going to, either promote out, retire out, or may take a job somewhere else. And there's going to be an opening, and we need to make sure we have other people licensed and certified to take their place. Seek and maintain operational effectiveness of the city. To do that, I have highlighted here providing budget information on a timely basis, anticipating any kind of changes, providing alternatives. Right now we're doing a lot of growth, so our budgeting it's been fairly positive with all the new growth and stuff like that. But you always got to be prepared for a downturn in the economy, or the state legislature coming back in and putting an artificial cap on your budget by lowering the rollback rate possibly to 2.5%, things like that. Those are things we will have to adjust, but we need to make sure that we're aware of it and on top of it. That way we can maintain our operational effectiveness. And we also want, I think this kind of goes with the licensing and certifications. One of our emphasis was staff support and participate in continuing education for all disciplines. Again, that kind of goes hand in hand with the obtaining your licenses and certifications. We want to continue implementation of our CIP, capital improvement projects, or capital improvement plan, CIP, and our street plan. We will have a full multi-year street plan coming out this summer. Our engineer has been working hard to get that established. We did have one that was put together a couple of years ago by an intern student from Texas A&M University. We tried establishing that, and the methods he said to maintain just weren't working out quite as well as we liked. We have the ability to go in and do better work on the streets than we did at that time. So we are coming up with a new street plan so that we can get our streets up to par. We're having to emphasize our work with Cap Metro on a transportation strategy. We don't know for what length of term. We're locked into Cap Metro until at least the year 2021, and then it'll be decided at that point whether the citizens want to continue with Cap Metro, or if we want to bring in our own transportation company that we contract with and establish our own transportation system, or if we want to keep working with Cap Metro. But right now we're working with Cap Metro. We had a meeting with them about a month ago, trying to get them to change the routes here in Lago Vista so that they will provide service to more of the actual interior of the city, instead of just running back and forth through the mall and only 7 or 8 people riding it per day. So we'll see. I think they said the next time they could change the route would be sometime in June. So we're looking to see how that works. Um, but that's something we have to work on because we're growing and people need transportation and they don't necessarily want to always have to drive. So we're working on it. We want to continue implementation of our newly completed parks master plan as we get our grants and stuff, and as our parks grow. We definitely want to continue implementing our parks master plan. We want to pursue grants that are available to small cities to offset our operations and maintenance. We've had grants recently from CapCog, um, Parks and Recreation, obviously. Um, we've had two $500,000 grants that we've got towards the funding of our park. We had a competition just recently where we took second. Had we taken first, that was, I think, $140,000 grant, but you got to take first. And we didn't. We took second. Second place got nothing, but we can resubmit and hopefully improve on our ranking next year. This was KLVB, and I believe it was the governor's something, the governor's choice award, the governor's something. But we're always constantly looking for grants, community development block grants to LCRA, PEC, other things like that. We're looking at a grant through PEC that'll help us remove the telephone poles and the utilities out here in the parking lot of City Hall and put in underground so that as we move forward on our economic development, we no longer have telephone poles down the middle of our parking lot. Like I say, we've got grants from CapCog in the past. We're going to be looking at more grants from CapCog, which is the Capital Area Council of Governments. We're hoping to establish a larger green center and a location where you can rid yourself of household hazardous waste and stuff like that you normally have to drive to South Austin or to Georgetown or to Hutto or Marble Falls or South Austin, somewhere you got to drive at least an hour, hour and a half to dispose of. We would like to establish that type of facility here in Lago Vista. And in order to do so, we're looking for grants. But we're constantly looking for grants. That's just a given. Of course, we still have properties that we want to sell. We're some of the smaller lots and strips and stuff that we've obtained over the years. We have now decided we're never going to use them, so we might as well offer them up to the community and things like that. Of course, we have the large property on Marshall's Point that we're still working to sell. We're currently going through an annexation process on it. So when we do sell it, we'll also be able to, in the future, be able to get the income tax portion, the ad valorem tax portion off of it. As y'all know, that was a piece of property that we obtained as a settlement on a lawsuit. And we'll never completely make money for the citizens on that whenever we sell it. We're always going to take a hit. But we are working to make sure we sell it for as high a price as we can. And now that we are the owner and we can annex ourselves, in the future, any ad valorem tax will gradually go to pay back some of the loss that we've incurred due to the lawsuit settlement. But that's just something we're working to improve. And let's see, what else? All right. Be more efficient and timely in our processing and issuing of permits for new development expanding developments and redevelopment. Enough said. I mean, the process for building is never easy. It's never easy. I don't care what city you're in. It's never easy. Everybody's, for some people it goes smooth. Some people they get horror stories. I don't know. But it's one of those things that you're always got to work to make more efficient and better and faster, cleaner, everything. So that is something else that we are emphasizing. And finally, area of emphasis and goal number 3 is our economy and growth. Just like we want to be the employer of choice, we also want to be the city of choice. And that means creating activities that promote opportunities and attract business and visitors. We want to expand our infrastructure into undeveloped areas for infill. And when we say the undeveloped areas, we're talking about the cul-de-sacs and roads inside of Lago Vista that currently don't have them. So, not necessarily subdivision and expanding that way, but the areas that inside Lago Vista that are still unserviced by infrastructure is what we're looking at expanding. Economically, we're define what Lago Vista offers to new businesses. Like what is our niche? We're working with the chamber and things like that to try and figure out establish what Lago Vista's niche is. Fredericksburg is known for certain things. Salato's for certain things. Bastrop's got its thing. Buda, they all have a certain branding that they're known for. Lago Vista has always been small and hidden, and has never really established a branding. So we're still working to try and establish what is Lago Vista's niche. And then once we do, we want to be able to identify and advertise, this identity and get it out there so people know who we are, and hopefully it'll attract people that fit our niche to bring their services and goods to the area. That is something that our economic developer is working on. We now have an economic developer as well as an economic development committee. So these are things that we're really emphasizing. Obviously, you've heard this in the past several years, create an opportunity for a town square in the Dawn Drive area, the municipal complex area, right out here in this parking lot. That is something that was in the comprehensive master plan. It's in our mission. It's something that, it's going to take a while, 10 years or more to develop, but slowly and surely we want to hopefully create the opportunity for a town square here in this area. And that will include expansion of the municipal complex here in this area, some form or fashion. We'll see as we move forward, expanding libraries, expanding this building, adding things, moving offices. It just depends, but we are wanting to expand the Dawn Drive area into a town square type area. Also, obviously, we want to attract a hotel to Lago Vista. We've been talking about that. Community's been talking about that for years. And yes, emphasis is still there. We would still like to get a hotel in Lago Vista. And we have a group that's actually doing a study for a hotel here in Lago Vista, and we'll see. And We are constantly working on it, just like we do other things, certain retails, HEBs. Everybody wants to know when we're getting HEB. Um, it's an ongoing process, and when HEB feels they're ready, I guess we'll get them. But all we can do is you know, keep asking them, hey, what about us? What about us? The same way we do with our hotels. What about us? When we get in a hotel, can you come out here? Um, we have a lot of reasons why people should be able to spend the night. So now it's just trying to get somebody to commit to build one. And let's see, emphasis creating an economic development program and strategies to encourage business and development enterprises. Obviously, that falls on Eric Zeno, our new economic development coordinator, director. Yes, and he just hit the ground running recently, and he will be. I'll be updating you as that comes online. That is what he is tasked with. All of these are pretty much all his taskers. I mean, it's our emphasis as far as our council mission strategy, our plan, but it's pretty much falls on him as a tasker, establishing a strategy to assist in filling vacant retail space, establishing a more robust business recruitment program, and attracting development, stimulating additional revenue streams. Anything that we can do that brings in revenue and takes it away from property tax, we would welcome. Right now, 10% of our revenues from sales tax and ad valorem tax comes from sales tax. That is small. You look at a town like Marble Falls, it's almost reversed because of all the big box stores and stuff and very little residential population. Marble Falls has a 60 or 70% of their budget is paid for by sales tax. That's why they look how they do and we look how we do. It's different revenue sources. And obviously I do not want big boxes and things like that. But if we could bring in something over time that'll increase our percentage of sales tax, and maybe we could get it to 50-50 and we could knock 10 or 20 cents off of our ad valorem property tax over time. But we have to have those sources, which means retail growth. And I know a lot of you don't like growth, but our residential growth is booming right now, and eventually we're going to have to do something to keep up with that growth. And one last thing, identify and create public access to additional cultural and recreational amenities. Of course, we have our parks coming in, and I mentioned this area here around City Hall, expanding our municipal complex to include cultural and recreational type activities. And that is all I have for you right now. This was just an introduction. This one is very long. I'm sorry, we're at an hour. I can't believe I sat here and spoke for an hour. But I just wanted to get you introduced to this new form of communication, kind of give you some background on our form of government and our mission and our strategy and things like that. Now, moving forward, everything's going to be more of an update. It's going to be, okay, our public works department is doing this. Our police department is doing this. Code enforcement is doing this. Council's doing this. These are the things, these are the actual actions that we are taking to meet the stuff that I have just laid out for you. Again, I know it was long and boring, but I thought being the first one, we should lay the groundwork moving forward. So I'm going to be signing off here, and then I'll be going over to the grill at Highland Lakes to have a town hall meeting for 3 hours from 5:30 to 8:30. So you can come and join me. Actually, I don't know when this will get posted. So if it doesn't get posted till Thursday, well, the meeting will have already taken place. Anyway, as you do watch this, just kind of think about some of the things that I put forth, and next time as I'm updating you on activities, if there's things that you have questions on, information you want, make sure you email me, mayor@lago-vista.org, and I'll try and include those questions. Can't say I'm going to answer all of them on YouTube, but if it's something that pertains to the entire city as a whole, I'll definitely try and answer those in my next podcast. So y'all have a wonderful day, and until next time, live like you're on vacation.